Once upon a time, in the vast savannas of Africa, there was a lush and fertile village called Kimbala. Kimbala was surrounded by tall trees, with pathways adorned with colorful flowers and a clear, gently flowing river that made it seem like a piece of paradise. In this village lived a beautiful and strong woman named Irina and her husband, Kahlo. Irina was known for her grace and poise, admired by the women of the village for her elegance and kindness. Her hair was as black and wavy as the night sky, and her eyes were a deep brown that seemed to reflect the sunlight with every glance. Kahlo, on the other hand, was strong and protective, with broad shoulders as sturdy as the mightiest trees in the village. His skin was a rich bronze, tanned by years of working under the sun. Kahlo's eyes always held a loving gaze when he looked at Irina, showing his deep affection and loyalty to her. They had been married for many years, but fate hadn't blessed them with a child. Kahlo and Irina were deeply saddened by this, but their love for each other kept them going. Irina had become pregnant several times, but each pregnancy ended in a heartbreaking miscarriage. Each loss felt like a knife twisting in her heart. At night, she would gaze at the stars, silently praying for a miracle to fill the emptiness she felt inside. The people of the village were aware of her struggles, and some began to whisper that Irina was cursed. These rumors spread like leaves in the wind. Some even believed that Irina had dark powers and used her miscarriages in sinister rituals. Kahlo's family started to believe these rumors too, urging him to marry another woman so their lineage could continue. But Kahlo loved Irina deeply to him. Irina wasn't just his wife. She was the other half of his soul. He held on to the belief that one day Irina would give him a child, and that belief was what kept him strong. Years passed, and Irina became pregnant once again. This news spread through the village like wildfire, creating a storm of emotions. People remembering the past were skeptical, expecting yet another miscarriage. But this time, Irina's pregnancy was different. Despite the challenges, she carried her pregnancy beyond 9 months. Irina's growing belly became a symbol of hope. Every evening, Kahlo would sit by her side, placing his hand on her belly, trying to feel the movements of their unborn child. To him, it was nothing short of a miracle. Finally, the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived, and to the astonishment of the entire village, Irina gave birth to 2 beautiful baby girl twins. Never before had the village of Kimbala seen a twin birth, and this event led to a massive celebration. Irina's daughters were named Mirai and Sanaa. Mirai's eyes were deep and meaningful, just like her mother's. Sanaa had a strong and calm demeanor, much like her father. In Kimbala, this birth was considered a great blessing. People from all over the village came to Irina's home, showering her with gifts. Brightly colored fabrics, gold bracelets, and baskets full of fresh fruits were piled high in front of her home. The twins were seen as miracles by the villagers. As Mirai and Sanaa grew, they became beloved figures in the village. Mirai's bright eyes and cheerful smile caught everyone's attention, while Sanaa was known for her calm demeanor and deep thoughts. Mirai's laughter filled the air like echoes of joy, and Sanaa's quiet presence brought peace to those around her. The men and women of the village would often visit just to spend time with them. Some would spoil them with gifts and then safely escort them back home. The twins were adored by everyone in the village, like rays of sunshine brightening everyone's day. But one day, a well-known merchant in the village, Amina, experienced something that revealed the twins' hidden powers. Amina, one of the most respected and wealthy women in the village, often took Mirai and Sanaa with her on trips to the market. One day, without Amina noticing, Mirai and Sanaa started eating her food. Amina, furious, scolded the twins and even punished them. However, instead of crying, the twins simply smiled and told Amina, "These marks will appear on your daughter when you get home." Amina dismissed their words as childish talk. But when she returned home, she was shocked to find that her daughter had the same marks on her back, exactly where Amina had punished the twins. Amina shared this with the villagers, but no one believed her. They thought she was dreaming or making it up. This event, however, changed the way the villagers viewed the twins. Mirai and Sanaa's mysterious powers began to instill a mix of fear and awe in the hearts of the people. What was once seen as a blessing was now regarded with caution. Their powers became a source of wonder and concern. As the twins grew older, their abilities became even more pronounced. One day, they encountered an elderly woman named Sophia, known for her harsh temper and quick anger. This encounter revealed yet another astonishing aspect of the twins' powers. While playing, Mirai and Sanaa accidentally knocked over a pot of food that Sophia had been cooking. Knowing how dangerous the old woman could be, they immediately apologized, trying to explain that it was an accident. But Sophia, in a fit of rage, cursed at them and even forced them to kneel as punishment. Despite their apologies, the twins were hurt by the punishment and placed a chilling curse on Sophia. "You will never be able to reach your home, Sophia." Like Amina, dismissed their words as mere childish threats. But as she tried to walk back to her hut, she discovered the horrifying truth. No matter how far she walked, her hut seemed to move further away. Exhausted and terrified, Sophia finally begged the twins for forgiveness. The villagers, who had long feared Sophia, were stunned to see her now pleading with the young twins. This event significantly changed the way the villagers perceived Mirai and Sanaa, once worshipped for their charm. The twins were now respected and feared for their powers. They had forced the once terrifying Sophia to beg for mercy, something no one in the village had ever imagined possible. As the twins grew older, the way the villagers treated them began to change. The powers that once made everyone love and pay attention to them now made people afraid. The villagers, who were once enchanted by Mirai and Sanaa, began to distance themselves, fearing what the twins might do. Even the young men in the village, who might have wanted to befriend them, were now too scared to approach them. Being near the twins and their strange powers was too frightening for them, and the twins began to feel isolated. Their incredible powers made it difficult for them to make friends or get close to anyone. They felt lonely and wished they could just be like other young people, playing, having fun, and making friends without scaring everyone around them. This desire led them to consider breaking one of the most important rules their mother had always told them to follow: never go near the river. Their mother had always been very serious about this rule, but had never explained why. Driven by curiosity and the longing to change their lonely lives, Mirai and Sanaa decided to visit the river, the place they had always been told to avoid. The decision to defy this rule in hopes of escaping their loneliness marked the beginning of a significant change in their lives. Excited for an adventure and eager to fit in, the twins made their way to the river. The river was always filled with people washing, swimming, and enjoying the cool water, though the twins wanted to be part of that, to play and be like everyone else. At first, the villagers were uneasy and afraid of the twins' presence, but eventually they began to relax. People started to return to the water, and it seemed like everything was returning to normal. The twins laughed and played with the others, and it felt like their dream of being normal was finally coming true. But then, something unexpected happened. One of the girls in the river playfully splashed water on Mirai. Almost immediately, Mirai's skin began to change, becoming scaly like a fish, and she started to transform into a fish herself. Sanaa tried to help her sister, but as soon as she touched the water, she began to change too. The villagers were terrified and didn't know what to do. They ran to get their mother, Irina. When Irina arrived at the river, she saw her daughters transforming into river creatures, and her heart broke. She wept as she watched this strange transformation, feeling utterly helpless. Her sorrow filled the air around the river, and the villagers could feel her pain. As Mirai and Sanaa changed in the river, everyone in the village was shocked and confused by what was happening. The village priest soon discovered a great secret about the twins Mirai and Sanaa were actually the children of the river goddess. This was a secret their mother, Irina, had kept out of fear. She had met with a healer long ago who had asked the river goddess to give Irina children. But there was a major rule. The children must never touch the river, or they would return to the goddess. There was no way to bring the twins back, and now everyone knew they belonged to the river goddess. Desperate to save her daughters, Irina went to find the healer who had helped her before. But when she reached the healer's home, she learned that the healer had passed away years ago. There was no other way to help the twins. The village had to make a heartbreaking decision. After much crying and praying, they returned Mirai and Sanaa to the river, giving them back to the goddess. But then, something incredible happened. The river accepted Mirai and made her one with it, but Sanaa was sent back to the land as a human once again. Everyone was in awe of the power and kindness of the river goddess. Irina and Sanaa embraced by the river's edge, both happy and sad. They had been through so much and now had to learn to live without Mirai, who was now a part of the river. They would always remember everything that had happened. Irina learned a great lesson about waiting for God's timing, knowing it is always best. The story of Mirai and Sanaa, the twins who were once feared, turned into a story of love, trust, and acceptance in the village. It showed that sometimes the best things happen in ways you never expect, and that life's mysteries can teach important lessons. Irina and Sanaa, changed by their experiences, found peace and learned to be grateful every day. They always felt a special connection to the river that had given them so much and also taken so much away.